Hi, it's me, coming straight from an undisclosed location. I'm here to tell you that Critters 1, 2, and the next movie after Critters 2 don't have footage. The copyright was too strong for me. I couldn't get past it. So I'm sorry, and I'll try to throw in footage where I can. I'm also gonna try to shave my face for the next line of recording because yucky.
Welcome back. You saw the title. You know what you're in for. We're talking about Critters. Critters was directed by Stephen Herrick, director of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Mighty Ducks, and the 1996 live-action remake of 101 Dalmatians that I watched a lot as a kid for some reason. So I have like very weird, vague memories of that. So, you know, connections, man, I'm telling you. This movie stars Dee Wallace, who played everyone's mom in the 80s. She was the mom in E.T., she's the mom in Cujo, but more recently-ish, she's kind of been a Rob Zombie regular. She was in Three from Hell, Lords of Salem, and the Halloween remake that he did. So, good for her. I also want to say I understand why she was always cast as 80s mom, because she is such a good, she plays such a good mom in every single movie that she's a mom, and it sucks that she was typecast for that. Don't think that she was for The Howling, so that's nice, but she's always a mom, and she's always plays a really good mom, so I get it, but I don't know, I have no idea if that sucked for her or if she was fine with it. I have no idea, but basic story of Critters is it starts off as a sci-fi space movie, which was cool. The creatures, the Krites as they're called, are being transported on a prison ship to a planet to be, I think, sent to execution, and they escape and steal a ship and make their way towards a planet called Earth. Two bounty hunters are then sent after them, and these two bounty hunters can shapeshift. They basically just kind of have to, it's not really explained, but the one says something about like faces aren't agreeing with him. It seems like they have to kind of come to some sort of unique understanding of the person that they're copying or something like that in order to copy their face. But the one bounty hunter turns into like a rock star in that universe. So there's a couple scenes where like they're walking around like, what the fuck is it, that guy? And it's like, that's fun. The other guy just keeps having malfunctions or keeps changing. He is a dead cop for a little bit, so he's just got like cuts and like mortal wounds on his face that he copied, and then he's a preacher for a little bit, and then towards the end of the movie he's like the country bumpkin, like the town's bumpkin, who's always talking about hearing alien chatter in his teeth fillings, and is a drunk. So by the end of the movie he's turned into that. But that's your general plot, and then our main story focuses on a family living out in the middle of nowhere, right outside. It seems like we're on the outskirts of a main town, but they're like a farming family. And the Critters make landfall there and terrorize this family, and then the bounty hunters show up a little ways off and terrorize the town because they just don't bother asking questions. They just shoot and blow shit up. They ram their car through a church. It was awesome. Go into a bowling alley and shoot up the bowling alley, and as hokey as it could sound, the fact that it is a kid that makes like all the difference and ends up saving his family is really well done and pretty charming in this movie. Yeah, once the Critters are defeated, the bounty hunters leave, and it's a happy ending for everybody except the Critters laid eggs somehow. I don't even want to think about how it works, but the Critters laid eggs. Don't worry, we've got like 15 Critters sequels, and I'm not turning this into a series. I'm not beelining all the Critters movies. I'm doing 1 and 2. Just come back tomorrow for 2. Spoiler, I'm watching 2. And that's it. The third one's only notable because Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, but apart from that, from what I understand, it's terrible. And the fourth one's not noticeable at all. Apparently it's just like horrendous garbage and boring, so I'm not even bothering. I've seen enough boring. I don't need more. But Critters, to my knowledge, has always just been a Gremlins ripoff movie, so I never bothered watching it because I love Gremlins too much. The first and second movie, too much to even humor something like a ripoff. Like, I've never watched Ghoulies, another full moon movie, another goddamn Charles Band movie. But I've never watched Ghoulies, and I know that that's like a Gremlins knockoff, and I never watched Critters. And I will say, for me believing in this being a Gremlins knockoff, the Critters are funny, just like the Gremlins. I will say it is a net positive that they're subtitled, because their dialogue is very funny. The Critters are different enough to Gremlins. There's no like weird rules about how you gotta feed them or you can't feed them or don't get them wet or natural light and whatnot. They just eat and grow. They're more closely related to the Blob than they are Gremlins. I'm gonna say for this, you know, in the headspace of being a Gremlins knockoff, it's a lot more effort and thought put into this than I thought that there would be. Like just even the idea that like when the Critters leave when the critters leave Earth before the ship explodes and they all die, they shoot like one Q laser to the house of the family to just blow it up, and they're laughing about it inside the ship, and that's just so like genius. Number one, that's really funny. And they blow up the house and they're giggling about it. And I want to say the house was a miniature. I don't think that they had the budget to blow up a real house. But what they did have the budget to do was build 2 miniatures, it seems. One to blow up spectacularly at night in a fireball, and then another one that they meticulously like broke down in a way so that way when you, in theory, could like film it with reverse photography, it all very clearly and visibly and not like confusing, because I would think that like a house fully caving in due to an explosion could be like a visual nightmare to look at, just with all of the debris and stuff. They were able to do it in such a way that through filming it with reverse photography, it was able to like rebuild itself, and it was so easily follow alongable. And that all comes down to the special effects stuff. And I'll say the special effects for this movie, while on the cheaper side, I'm thinking more of the opticals of like the ship being superimposed in the film. Yeah, it looks a little cheap, but man, the costume for like the weird alien on like the floating hover car thing that gives the bounty hunters their orders, he looked really good. The critters, they look, I'll say up close, they look really good. And when they're big, when it's definitely just a dude in a costume, that costume looks great. When they're tiny, and they're always precariously placed at the edge of a surface so that you can have somebody's hand up inside to flop them around. Little less good looking, little less great looking. But there are scenes where they're running around, and that almost has to be done with stop motion. It was done so quick I couldn't really register if it was stop motion or not. But there's scenes where they're running around on the floor and not just like in their ball form, because they can also roll up into a ball and like roll around. And that was definitely somebody off camera just like lobbing one down the fucking hallway. But when they're like running, they got their little legs going. They look great. Again, when they're being puppeted and they're always at the edge of a bed or the edge of a desk or just the edge of a surface so that a hand can just be right there and just kind of, a little less so. But hey, it is what it is. This was definitely low budget. Definitely did not have like a Warner Brothers backing behind them like Joe Dante did for Gremlins. So I really can't complain because I expected to see worse and I didn't. A lot of great destruction when the bounty hunters are just blowing up random shit. And it just like blows a hole through a wall in the house. It looked great. When Dee Wallace shotguns that one gremlin, not gremlins, when Dee Wallace shotguns that one critter and it just like fucking pops, that looked great. The dad gets up in this movie. The critters are just like biting him all over the place. The daughter's boyfriend gets eaten alive. I think his stomach. It's not shown much. The movie is a PG-13 rating, so they couldn't show too much. But it's late 80s PG-13, so they could actually show repercussions from negative action, as opposed to now where when in a PG-13 movie somebody gets shot with a bullet, they just ooh, ee, and then maybe there's some blood afterwards. We don't get RoboCop squibs. We just kind of get like a and then maybe a cutaway and then a cut back, and now there's blood all of a sudden. Whereas in a PG-13 then, if somebody got shot, there could be a little bit of a blood splatter on the wall or on a tiny little squib, not quite a RoboCop squib, but still a squib. We could see some repercussions to the negative actions that are happening, as opposed to now where we don't at all. So that helps. So yeah, I just had fun with this movie. Honestly, this was just a really fun time. I'm excited to watch the second one. I hear the second one is better. But I had a great time watching this one. I thought this was really fun. And it helps, too, that everything is played so straight. There's never a moment where anybody even has, like, a hint of, like, self-awareness to how ridiculous everything is. Everything's played totally straight. And that is to the benefit of the movie because there's some, like, goofy shit happening, especially with the critters and the bounty hunters who are just totally oblivious to, like, the weird shit that they're doing. Those scenes could have definitely been hindered by like any ounce of like quippy dialogue, somebody saying some sort of a well, that's gonna leave a mark kind of quip, Marvel quipping. Those scenes could have been ruined by that, but nothing. It's all played so straight, everything's taken so serious, and that only benefits when things are going nutso and crazy and bonkers. So I really liked Critters a lot more than I thought I would for it being, in theory, a Gremlins knockoff. I don't even want to call it a full-on Gremlins knockoff because I have enough respect for it to call it being close enough to its own original thing, just with a sprinkling of some Gremlins influence here and there. I had a lot of fun with Critters. It's not like the best movie ever made, but you know what? If you want to have a fun time, Critters will suffice. I'm giving Critters a 3.5 out of 5. And tune in tomorrow for Critters 2, baby!